Welcome to the Wisdom of Women show. Business is the most powerful, innovative force in the world. And with visionary women leaders at the helm, we can lead in both impact and profit. Today's world needs the wisdom of women in business. This is why we are here to help women grow. Are you already a successful visionary woman founder leading a high impact company? The Wisdom of Women show is designed just for you. We are a community of women founders, investors, and leaders who want to see you rise. Join us as we unlock opportunities and prosperity for women-led enterprises. The future of business is women. Are you ready? Welcome to the Wisdom of Women show. We are delighted and dedicated to amplify the voice of women in business. A new model of leadership is emerging, and we are here to amplify the voices of women leading the way. Thank you for joining us today as we illuminate the path to unlocking opportunities and prosperity for women-led enterprises by amplifying the voice and wisdom of women. So today we have a really exciting guest. She's going to bring us all kinds of new ways to look at how we can have inner and outer breakthroughs. And her name is Liz Svatek. And she is a dynamic force in the world of personal transformation, serving as a mindset mastery coach, healer, and write this down, folks, Rapid Transformational Therapist. We have to find out what that is. As the founder and CEO of Warrior Women, Inc., Liz empowers visionary women to break through mental blocks, conquer anxiety, and embrace a life of unparalleled freedom and choice. Liz has a globally acclaimed podcast, Conversations with Warrior Women, which is changing, right? Yep. It's changing to the Liz Svatek show.
Liz Svatek, yep.
Great. It's a testament to her passion for amplifying women's voices and helping them create lasting legacies. We want to talk more about legacy, right? So beyond her curated mastermind groups and transformative classes, Liz is a sought-after speaker, sharing her wisdom on stages worldwide. Join us as Liz delves into the journey of unlocking your true potential and stepping boldly into your legacy. Welcome, Liz. So happy to have you.
Thank you so much, Coco. First of all, I love you because my daughter's name's Coco.
Oh, you're kidding.
So, yes, she is my dearest person. And so I love your name. I was all excited. And your last name, my daughter's godfather is John Sellman. We call him Sellman. So I literally saw your name. I'm like, hello, do I know you? Like Coco Sellman. Those are like my two favorite words.
That's amazing. I wonder if we're somehow connected. We should do that.
Oh, yes, we're going to have to do that. The 6 degrees.
I love it. So as we always do at the beginning of the show, I always like to ask the question, what is one book written by a woman that has significantly influenced your life?
Well, I'm sure people are giving you all the answers, right? Brene Brown, Michelle Obama, like all the names, right? I'm sure. I'm going to give you one I bet you haven't heard yet. And
Great.
Iyanla Van Zandt.
Mm-hmm.
One of her first books, I believe, is called One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. And when I was in my 20s, I got this book, and I'd never seen a book that was actually kind of a workbook. Also, like it was kind of a hybrid book, like a journal and a book at the same time. And when I tell you I poured into that book, I jumped into the book. And it just spoke to me. And I became a big Iyanla fan. And that was sort of like, I had always loved personal growth, even as a kid. I didn't know that at the time, but that's what I was doing. I was always looking to better myself. And that was a book that I felt like in my 20s, just like was a little life raft. It was a little life raft that in those rocky 20s where you're like, what am I doing? What's going on? And it was incredible. It really introduced me to kind of soul work, which is what I'm very passionate about today.
Liz, you know, you're not going to believe it, but I had the same experience in my 20s. I swear. I'm like looking around because I think it's in my hallway, but I literally still have it. And it's, you know, this great book. And you open it up and it has the little plate, the place
It's got the little, yes,
and you make notes and stuff
it's
in it.
got a ribbon, a little placeholder.
Yes,
Yes.
a purple ribbon. And I have such fun. I mean, every night I would snuggle into my bed, you know, and in my 20s, my little apartment, and I would like reflect and do the little exercises. I feel like there was a morning and an afternoon or something, and or morning and an evening or something. I don't know.
Yes, there was like a morning routine and there was all these different little exercises you could do. And by the way, I was in my little apartment. Were you in New York?
I was in New York. So we were probably like, I'm
We
turning
were living
50.
the same
I
little
know.
life. Where were you living?
I would have been living at 96th and Park at the time.
Okay, I was at 96, 95th, and I was in what they call Dormandy Courts at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I know exactly where that is.
I think it was like 91st and 3rd, or I don't know, or 95th and
Third. Yeah.
But,
We
but
were
yes,
we were less than a mile from each other. We were like
that is hilarious, Coco.
we were probably on the 6 train together,
You're
going
my
to work
best
in the
friend.
morning.
You're my new best friend, so just accept me and let me in.
Oh, so everybody, you got to pick up this book, whatever age you are.
Yes.
It is One Day My Soul Just Opened Up by Ian Levinzant, I think is how you say her name.
Yes.
And so okay, Liz, tell us about Warrior Women Inc. and who you serve, what you do. I mean, we got to understand right off the bat, what is rapid transformational therapy?
Yes. Oh my God, it's a game changer. Well, I serve women who are over 40. I really feel like I'm 54. I really believe that the 40s, the 50s and 60s, they're a really unique time because we go through so many transitions. Like maybe your marriage is ending, maybe you're leaving a job, maybe you're looking at legacy work, maybe your kids are now older, so they're kind of moving on, and you're in this unique and menopause. I mean that's a whole thing right there. So you're going through so many changes, and there's a tendency to kind of isolate yourself or kind of push through it, or or just feel kind of sad about the whole thing. There's a lot of grief that goes on that nobody talks about in that zone. And I want to call women into this is not a crisis. This is a calling. That little nudge you're getting for more, that little nudge you're getting, like, I want to leave a legacy. I want to do something bigger. That is a calling. And if you think there may be more for you, great news, there is, because you wouldn't even be having the thought if there wasn't. So I'm always leading women into their legacy work. I'm helping them transform, but this is what's interesting about legacy work. You cannot think that your legacy will transform you. You have to transform yourself first so you can discover your legacy. You sometimes can't see it if you don't do the work of you first. So that's kind of like the way I do it. We transform you, and then we start looking at what is this legacy going to be. And one of the ways I transform women, and I have it in every single program that I do, and I also do it as a standalone thing, is rapid transformational therapy. And I discovered this, and once I discovered this, I was like, I am certifying in this. I am becoming I'm because I couldn't believe the results. It is like taking 5 years of therapy and doing it in one 90-minute session.
Holy mackerel, sign me up.
It's incredible. And every woman that I've done it with, and listen, women come to me with all the things, right? I feel invisible. I feel like I don't know where I'm going in my life. Still have confidence. I have this insecurity. I don't even know where it's coming from. I feel like I have imposter syndrome. Like hugely successful women who are like, I am terrified. I don't know what I'm doing, right? So we all have these things. And what it does is it really gives you an immediate result because it deals with your subconscious mind. It's a mix of hypnotherapy and 5 years of traditional therapy where we go to the root, we go to the source, we figure out what it is, and then I help you rewire it. And then you listen to a little personalized recording. We have another coaching session to kind of bookend the whole thing. And I'm telling you, I just had a woman yesterday. I'm telling you, this woman had the most, like, I've never seen someone so low. She just was like, I can't leave my house. I'm feeling so upset. I don't know where my life is going. She was just, and she used to be very vivacious. She just felt like she lost it all. We
Mhm.
did this session. She opens her eyes after this session and she looks 5 years
Mm.
younger. It was like I took a piano off her chest.
Wow.
So it is really a game changer.
I love that. And to be able to create a release of those blockages so you can just move forward, right? I mean,
Yes.
and so much of us, I feel like at this stage, and our audience is founders, right? A lot of women who are out there. Many of the people in our audience, the people that are listening, struggle because they've built something, and it's working in many ways, but it's also taxing and exhausting. And it's like, here we are, we built this thing, but now it's like a ball and chain.
Yeah.
And also like, gee, I feel like I'm doing all of this, but it's not creating the prosperity or the joy in my life that I wished, and it's not what I imagined it would be, right? Or I'm still having to control everything, and I want to let it go, but how do I? Those are things that I commonly hear about as women are growing, and then there's those that are in places like where I am, where business evolves. I've gone through, a merger, took on partners, had to deal with having new partners. That was a challenge. And now I'm going through an exit. And so my identity, right, gets trapped up and all of our identities, right? We get trapped up in those things, and then we get stuck when
Yes.
our kids grow out of the house, or we lose a marriage, or we, the mandala of our business has been swept beautifully into the river, hopefully in exchange for a little bit of prosperity. But it's still hard, right? It's
Yes.
still until in walks Liz with Rapid Transformation Therapy,
Yes. And
right?
I also think this requires, and you're so astute because this is exactly what it is. It is identity evolution. And I teach neuro identity evolution. You can't outthink yourself, right? Like we've all tried this. Let me think my way out of the problem. Let me just ask let me ask by committee. Let me ask everyone what they think, right? That does
Mm.
not build our self-trust, right? What
Oh,
builds your self-trust is when you can actually evolve yourself, coach yourself. That's what I teach women to do. I teach you how to coach yourself. I give you the tools. I show you how to evolve that identity so that instead of like being trapped by your past or all this crazy thinking that you have that's just drowning you, I teach you how to free yourself up so that when you start making the decisions and choices, they're coming from a place that's such a higher perspective that
mm.
you're literally calling yourself into your future. And I think that's what women really need right now. Like women do not need 5 years of therapy. Women do not need someone telling them what to do. Women
Mhm.
need to know how do I access really inside of me what I want?
Exactly.
How do I get into that such deep self trust that
Yes.
I know, like I know my next move, right? And so I teach women how to do that because I think I don't want someone telling me what to do. I'm a little rebel over here. Don't tell me what to do. In fact, tell me no and see what happens. I'm going to do it anyway, right? So I feel like this is what women need. This is the new evolution of women. We need to be able to kind of rewire some of that thinking, right? We can't just outthink this. We got to rewire the thinking so we can evolve.
I love it. So how does this work? How does this work? I mean, is there some tools or some offerings around um like something I could do, for example, to feel really excited and empowered about my next stage of life? Like, is there
Yes.
a couple of things that you could tell me to do?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, meditation is huge. And
Right.
listen, before everybody starts rolling their eyes and saying like, "Oh, that's wow, Liz, what a new idea." Before everyone starts to say, "I don't have time to do that. I'm going to roll my eyes because I don't want to do it." Meditation is not what people think. If you are not feeling completely transformed and elevated by meditation, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
That's just facts. I used to try to make it like a checklist. Oh, I'm going to give my little 5 minutes. I did my little 10 minutes of meditation. Checkity check, right? We all
Mhm.
know, oh, let me make my gratitude checklist. Checkity check. I did it, right? Whenever we do things like a checklist, it doesn't work. It doesn't, it's right. It doesn't
Especially for women,
for
we
women.
have to be embodied,
We have
right? We
to be
have to be
embodied.
embodied.
Yes. So I teach meditation very differently. And I tell women, if you do the meditation the way I call you into it, meditation is actually a vacation from yourself.
Oh,
Because you're over here in your current reality, right? You're over here going, I have this problem and I don't know what to do and where am I going? And when you meditate in a deep way, when you have a guided meditation that can really
yeah.
take you somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're not you anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You become kind of like you're in the unknown. You're dancing in the unknown. You're getting these
Mm-hmm.
divine downloads. You're having thoughts. You're thinking about the future. You're not focused on your problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
So meditation is one of the tools definitely that I use for women. Self-regulation.
It sounds like guided meditation in particular.
Yes, I used to be a fan. And listen, I do also like just sitting quietly and just seeing what comes. I like that. But I feel like, especially in the beginning, there's too many ruminating thoughts in there.
Yes,
It's
yes,
too much, right? So you
right.
almost need somebody to say, I'm going to walk you through this so you don't have your self-talk, right? So I think in the beginning,
Yes,
you need that
yes.
guided meditation. You can absolutely work up to sitting very quietly, being Deepak Chopra, and 2 hours later, you're just, in the yard. Absolutely. But in the
Mhm.
beginning, I think we need that guide.
Mhm. And you also, I'm just like sort of flash forwarding a little bit. You also have a walking meditation,
I do. Because
which,
because I know you're going to walk anyway, Coco.
yes,
This is how I'm pulling women in. I'm like, you tell me
yeah.
you don't like meditation and you say you don't have time for it. But guess what? You're going to walk anyway. So you're just going to take the walking meditation with you. And I literally did it as a walking transformation meditation. So it's not just like you're walking and you're hearing something. I literally have a little system I use where you actually work through whatever is kind of going on with you and it takes you out of yourself. So you're going to walk anyway, and you're going to give yourself a little transformation while you walk.
I love it. I love it. I do believe that you and I, we're just getting to know each other. We figured out that we both know each other maybe through entrepreneurship.
Yes,
And I love how these connections come forward. But we you don't know that I one of my previous businesses was called the Trust Leadership Institute. So I developed a whole toolkit around self-trust
I
using
love this.
guided meditation. So this is all so on. And where I've always, my niche has always been business, but really it's a reflection for me of self-trust. It's a reflection of what is my higher self, asking me, inviting me to do. How do I find a deeper connection to that? And where does it guide me to go? And so I'm loving this and I believe you. And I'm not just saying I believe you.
Did you know it works?
I know that it works. And I do think this is the when we I believe that the reason why the show is called The Wisdom of Women is because I do believe that when you bring forth your wisdom into
Yes,
everything you do, in particular in business,
yes.
it not only makes your life better, but it transforms your culture, your team, and it elevates society as a result because you create a little microcosm. And if you create a microcosm that's guided by wisdom and you invoke for others to create wisdom and share wisdom in the world and be their best and feel safe to be their best, that means, and I've had this happen, right? Where employees then come back and say, I tried that exercise with, how do I support you when somebody's upset, which is a really simple transformational tool, but and like, oh, where we accept people as they're making mistakes and like I tried that with my husband and like it changes the way we see the world. So you can, as a founder, when you use tools like this, not only will you find it for yourself, but it will like spread like wildfire into your companies and your business grow,
Yes. I mean, it's the ripple
right?
effect. It's
Yeah.
the ripple effect.
It's
And I talk about this all the time because women are not just like, oh, let me improve myself and I'm good. No, women are like, let me improve myself and take everyone I know with me. Let me take my
Yes.
coworkers with me, my husband, I'm gonna take my kids with me. That's why I love to work with women and heal women, because once they are healing and they're doing the work of them and they're in this wisdom perspective, which is
Yeah.
so amazing, because I have a VIP mastermind group called the Wise Women Collective, where that is literally the whole thing. I put women in a room together who have already gone through kind of, my program and know all the tools and know all the things. They've done rapid transformational therapy. And then they go into this little circle and
Wow.
share their wisdom. And we were just meeting last night on a Zoom. These women, the things that come out of their mouths, they're so wise. They have so much to share. And when they hear themselves seen and heard and validated by another woman who's been on that journey, right? Like, I have been where you are. I know where you are. I see you. There is something powerful about that. Sharing the wisdom in a trusted circle, a safe space where you can really truly go very deep and talk about what you want to talk about.
I couldn't agree more. And there's that it's sort of like when you're in your life, I equate it in business, where you go to all these networking events that are mostly men, especially if you're a successful business leader, then you go into these, like, memberships where you have only those who have made $1 million or more, blah, blah, blah. And you go in and it's almost all men.
Yes.
And it's fine and it's good and you can get a lot of value from it, but it always feels like it doesn't quite fit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the reason I always feel like it's so important for women to come together is because when we do, and we start to hear each other, we start to understand, remember ourselves.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, that is what the sound of a wise woman sounds
Yes.
like.
Yeah,
That is,
we're a mirror for each other, right? Like,
yeah.
even you and I on this podcast now. Oh my gosh, that was my book too. I mean, that was so fun for me to know that you think of us in our little apartments reading the same book in our 20s, like, right? What a connection. And I think that's what women want. They want connection, they want community, they want that deep conversation. We're done with how's the weather. We're done. You hit 40 and I don't know, the filter goes away and you're like, I got to talk to some people and talk about real things. I cannot be having these surfacey things. And I feel like those networking events, they're very surfacey. They're very bro marketing. You're in there shaking the hand. What do you do? And women
This
don't.
is how many leads I closed and how many, this is my
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah.
women don't care about that. Women are like, I want to know what you do for business, but I also want to know you. I want to know you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I want to know what makes your heart happy. I want to know what, lights you up and, brings you joy. And I want to know how I can help and serve you too, right? Like, that's the other thing. We are designed to help each other.
Yes.
So, tell us more about, let's see, you talked a little about the soul. We talked a little bit about your transformational therapy. Have we talked about soul blazer? Do you want to talk to us about what it means to be a
Sure.
soul blazer?
Yeah, I just taught a little class on this. I periodically just will give a free class just because I'm always inviting new women in and I want people to see kind of new technology and things I'm using, because I'm always out there. How do I how do I bring the result faster? How
Yeah.
do I transform women sooner so they can start working on their legacy? That's literally what I'm out there all the time, trying all the things, looking at things, deciding what I'm going to bring in.
Mhm.
And one thing that I really started noticing was, women really don't know about rapid transformational therapy. So I did this little soul blazer class and I talked about what does it mean to be kind of a trailblazing woman, right? A pioneer, a woman who's out there wanting to do it different. She's the one in her family. She's the one in her business. She's making the changes. She's the ripple effect. That's her. And what does it really take to lead from your soul, to have, like you said, soul success? We are no longer interested in being successful if it's killing us. We
Mhm.
don't want to be successful and pay a price of our health, no time with our families,
Mhm.
having this, ruminating thoughts up in the morning. Oh my God, let me check this email. Oh my God, the client, like the stress of it all. We do not, that is not success. Women will be like, I will get paid less if I can have more peace, but you don't even have to get paid less. I want to show you how you can make
Right.
more money, be more free, right? I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life, and I'm working less. There's
Mhm.
a way to do that, right? And tapping into that, to that kind of quantum success, that kind of soul-led success. So I did this whole class on it, and I was teaching them about self-regulation and having a flexible nervous system, and I showed them a little bit of RTT, and the you should have seen that chat. It was like like they were just so excited. So, and I love that because women are so smart. You give
Mhm.
them one tool, one perspective shift, and they never forget it. And I gave them a perspective shift, and I got so many emails back like, that one sentence, that changed my life.
That's wonderful. And so what would be an example of like a perspective shift that we could integrate into our day?
Do you want to know the one I shared in Soul Blazer that blew everything?
Yes.
Okay. So I have an 18-year-old son named Landon,
Okay.
and he was born in, I mean, when I tell you he came in a blaze of glory, that's how he came into the world. It was an emergency C-section. He
Oh.
almost died. He had a stroke. He was supposed to be brain damaged. He had damage to his right arm. I guess his umbilical cord got caught around his neck like 3 or 4 times, and he had put his arm up through it, got his arm stuck. So it created a series of blood clots. So this kid has been through it, right? He's had over 60 surgeries. He has ADHD. He's not brain damaged,
Mhm.
praise the Lord, but he has been through a lot. He's been to 3 different high schools. He's
Mhm.
an out of the box learner. He's very smart, but he doesn't learn like everybody.
Mhm.
So we've been through a lot with this kid. And for a long time, I found myself in an emotional addiction to worry. And you can be in an emotional addiction like a regular addiction, like
Yeah.
any other addiction, because anything you continue to do that has adverse effects is an addiction. If you're doing something you don't want to do it and you keep doing it, even though it has adverse effects, that is an addiction. So I was addicted to worry. I didn't want to worry, Coco. I was like, can I stop this crazy train? How do I get off this? Right. But I would find myself in this worry spiral. It would keep me up at night. It would wake me up in the morning. And the worry was, what's going to happen to this kid? What's
Yeah.
going to happen to this kid? Like, is he
Mhm.
going to be okay in the world? Is someone going to make fun? His arm looks like a really bad burn. It's shorter than the other arm. Who's going to make fun of him today? What's his self-esteem going to be? Will he find a nice woman or a partner who like appreciates him? Like all the things, right?
Yeah.
And one day I said, I need to shift this. I need to shift this. And I all of a sudden it came to me that Landon is on his own divine journey.
Mhm. Mhm.
He's on his own divine journey. This kid is meant for more. He did not come here just to play around. You don't survive something like that and just become like any other person, right? So that feeling of Landon's on his own divine journey, he's guided and supported and loved in this world. When I told women that, they lost their minds. They were like, oh my God, this helps me think, reframe my sister, my aunt, my mother. Even when you don't like that journey, even when that journey looks horrible to you, right? That person is still on a path. They
Yes.
are doing their spiritual growth homework. They are evolving. You may not like the pace of it. You may not like what it looks like, but
Exactly.
they are on a divine journey. And the minute I embraced that, and listen, I had to practice it, Coco. It wasn't like I just said
Oh,
it
I
and then I was
know.
like,
I know.
I had to live it. I had to embody it. I had to think about it. I had to write about it. I had to meditate on it. But
Mhm.
now I believe it. And when I started to embrace that, it changed everything. He came in the house and I'm looking at him so differently, right? I'm so much lighter and brighter with him. And he became lighter and brighter. He became,
It transforms what your
right?
situations are, right?
Yes, that's why it's so important for us to do the work of us, right? Because it will affect your kids, coworkers, husband, partner,
Totally.
whatever, right? It'll affect everyone. But that divine journey idea, whoo, that did it for me.
Right. And we all have those places where we worry, where we're stuck, where we just think whatever it is can't be,
Yes.
that it has to be different than it is. But guess what? It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Liz, you probably don't know this about me. I have a stepdaughter, Amelia, who was born at 27 weeks, and she has very severe cerebral palsy as a result.
Goodness.
And so Alume, my healthcare company that I founded, was in her service. It provides around the clock medical care to medically fragile kids and adults. And so I 1000% understand. And it's been a journey with my husband too, because I don't, I'm not the biological mother. I didn't go through what you went through or Amelia's mom went through in that moment of birth and the incredible trauma that
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
And yet I've always been able to see Amelia as she is, nonverbal, requires complete around the clock care, as having a incredibly clear soul purpose.
Mm.
Like her presence and her ability to spread joy just by her smile
Mhm.
is so clear it's so clear to me that she doesn't need to be different than she is.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, we want everything to unravel I wouldn't like keep her from growing or keep her from progressing in any way that was possible for her. But she's perfect just the way she is. But that's something we've taught into. This is again like what you learn from an experience with Liz is something you can then take into your business, into your
Absolutely.
life, and all these places. So at Illume, we had a whole exercise where we looked at everybody's needs, and when you're thinking about the needs of a person who is non-ambulatory, non-verbal, and how do it's really easy to sort of see what their basic needs are, but what are their needs for purpose and legacy and actualization and transcendence?
Yes.
Because right, and how can we give that to them,
How
right?
can you look at it as a divine journey and say,
Yes.
I'm not here to change this. I'm here to be in service of this divine journey. Like what can make this, right? And how do I make it more divine? How do I see it like that? And how do I make it more divine for him, for her, right? Because it is their own journey, right? And some of this is they have to discover things and they have to, right? Like they're in that body, they're living that journey, right? But
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like it's us that are the ones that are tortured, right? Like he
Oh
actually
yeah.
going around with that arm. He's a righty, by the way. So his whole life he's been spent shaking, doing everything with your left hand as a righty. So you just imagine that, right?
Mhm.
He puts that right arm out there and shakes people's hands, and they're shaking this little kind of like smaller hand that's all scarred up. And I'm thinking every time he shakes someone's hand, he's changing somebody's life.
He is.
Right? And the same for her. Every
Exactly.
time she smiles at somebody,
Oh,
she
a
is
hundred-
changing someone's life. Because
exactly.
whatever pity or
Exactly.
sadness or whatever you think you're going to give this person, you're so wrong.
You're
You're
so
so
wrong.
wrong. You're so blessed to be in the presence of the divine.
Mhm.
I mean, that just
Oh,
like chokes me up. It's
yeah,
so
no,
beautiful.
it is. And it's exactly, it's what we're all seeking.
Yeah.
And there it is,
Yeah.
right? In these
It's so,
moments.
thank you for sharing that with me. Oh my goodness. That's
And
amazing.
you're sure, and your son too. I mean, Landon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wonderful. Okay, so
Now that we've
where
had
are we?
laugh, we've done it all, Coco. My God.
So tell us now for our women founders out there so let's just send them away with one final word of wisdom um, around what they can do to support their own journey, their own heart, their own feeling of okayness with their lives and themselves and the people in it.
Yeah. I mean, I would say this, we make everything mean something, right? Like we're just meaning makers. Like I run into you at the grocery store, you look away. I'm like, why is she such a bitch? Why is she ignoring me? Meanwhile, you don't have your glasses, you can't see, you didn't even know I was there, right? We make stories up all the time. We make stories up, we make meaning of things. Everything is inherently meaningless.
Mhm, mhm.
If you
Yes.
can embrace the absolute meaningless of life, right? Meaninglessness of life, right? That is that detachment from that meaning, the detachment from an outcome, because that is what ruminates us. That is what sends us down the crazy highway, right? That leads to the crazy mind loop. When you can detach from that, when you can just be a little curious, right? So I will say this, start saying, isn't it interesting? Isn't
It
it interesting
is,
that I
isn't
just,
it?
isn't it interesting? I just went to the grocery store and made up a whole story about Coco. Isn't
Yeah.
that interesting that
Isn't
I'm
it
making up a
interesting?
story? Ask yourself,
What's the story?
detach from the judgment, right? Of like, why am I thinking this? I don't know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. Instead, ask yourself, isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that I'm super pissed at my husband and he doesn't even know why? Because I'm just expecting him to read my mind. Isn't it interesting that I say I want to move forward in my legacy and yet I'm not doing one diddly do thing about it? Right? Like isn't it interesting? Just releasing the judgment and getting curious about what you're doing. It can bring a little self-awareness too.
I love that. Isn't it interesting? I'm going to use that today.
Hmm.
What is your legacy about? What do you think about when you think about your personal journey in legacy?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the past I thought legacy was like, well, what's my estate planning? How much money am I going to have? That's what I thought legacy was. I did not really understand legacy until I moved into my legacy. My
Mm.
legacy is I want to heal 1 million women. I want to
Oh,
fill a stadium. I want to be the Taylor Swift of midlife. I want to fill a stadium and I want you to have that same feeling you feel at a Taylor Swift concert. I want you to bring your mother, your aunt, your niece, your everyone, your sister. I want to gather women together and I want to heal us in a giant format. I want to do RTT and bring all those tools, easy little tools and perspective shifts, travel across the country and heal millions of women and create women that heal other people. So that's my legacy. I teach these beautiful classes, but not everybody can take my classes because I'm not Target. I'm a little bit more like a Neiman Marcus. So my classes are very, because there's a lot of support and a lot of, people, I spend a lot of time with these ladies.
mhm.
But for the people that can't do the classes, can't be in my VIP mastermind, I want to give them something. And I'm going to write a book next year. I'm going to do a TED Talk next year. And I
Good for
really
you.
want to start reaching into more women. I want to get into more communities. I want to get out there and I want to show women that you don't have to take 5 years of therapy. You can transform yourself rapidly. It can happen fast so that you can move into your legacy.
I love it. I'm in. I want to try this rapid transformation therapy with you. I think that
Yes.
sounds super awesome. If somebody wants to do that,
Yes.
how do
Yeah.
they get in touch
Yeah,
with you?
I can give you the link for that.
Okay.
It's called the 30-day transformation. That's what I call it, where you do a session. I give you this curated recording, which is like a hypnotic recording to kind of wire it in. And then we meet to have a little coaching session one-on-one. So it's a complete little 30-day transformation. It is a life changer.
I love it.
And so I can give you that link. So if people want to come and do that, or if you want to kind of talk about it and say like, do you think this would be good? What do you think would be good? We can talk about it.
Awesome. That sounds great. And I know that you also have an empowered woman playbook,
I do.
right?
I
And what
do.
is that? And that's a freebie,
That's a
correct?
let me tell this is a hell of a freebie. Everyone's like, why are you not charging for this? I'm like, because again, I want women to have it. So I created a playbook, basically how to survive your 40s and 50s and 60s. I created this because I wanted it, Coco. I was like,
Yeah.
where's my playbook? Where's my rule book for this age of life? My mother never told me anything about menopause or changes and transitions after 40. We never talked about it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No.
nobody was talking about it. So I created this playbook. It's a 6 episode private podcast with a very juicy workbook. And it'll just kind of give you a good little step into the work of like this age group and like what we're really facing. It's
Yeah.
funny, it's fun because I do everything humor and healing. That's what I do. It's funny, it's fun, but also it's deep work. So you'll love it.
I think that sounds great. So down in the description below, you're going to be able to find a link to the Empowered Women Playbook. You can also go to the website, Liz Svatek, LIZSVATEK.com. And you'll see right there on the homepage is a free walking meditation. And we talked a little bit about walking meditation earlier. And so you can get that too. And that's another freebie.
Yes.
So much generosity, so much wisdom, Liz. We're
Thank
so grateful. Thank you very, very, very much. My heart feels open and ready to receive more goodness from the universe. And I can't wait to get to meet up with you, and we can compare notes on Ion Law and we can share about our kids, right? And what they're teaching us. And my husband, he actually had he was journaling on Amelia.
Oh.
And he came back to me one day and he had the insight that Amelia has a higher power and I'm not it.
Ooh, talk about detaching from an outcome, right?
Right.
Staying in the curiosity and wonder and not getting into the outcome and trying to control, right? I mean, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Right. So this is what's available for everyone, right? Having these big shifts and moments of healing and lightness and empowerment, right? To go out and slay dragons or, paint the world whatever color you want.
Yeah, that's holistic success, right? Like we are not going to be doing it the way we've done it for years. We're not going to burn ourselves down and burn out and sacrifice ourselves. We don't have to do that anymore. That's the good news.
That's the good news. Well, thank you, Liz. Thank you for joining us today on the Wisdom of Women show. Thank you for illuminating the path to unlocking opportunities for growth and prosperity for women-led enterprises. We value your experience and your wisdom. The world is made better by women-led business. Let's go make the world a better place.
Is your business ready to accelerate? Take the Business Acceleration Readiness Assessment today and find out now at www.aforceforgood.biz/quiz. Take the 5-minute assessment and you will receive an instant response on the 4 essential areas of alignment needed for business growth. You will also receive 4 free tools specific to your situation to help you and your team accelerate success right away. Go to www.aforceforgood.biz/quiz and find out what you can do to accelerate, impact, scale, and profit today.